Okay, hello, hello. Oh, I gotta open up chat too. Um, Hi guys, happy Monday. I promise I'm a little rusty, but I'm gonna do my best with this. I'm a thriver. I'm all thrived up. We'll make it through here. But I did just get home from a retreat, and so I wanted to kind of go over some things that I picked up or that I kind of took away from it. But before I do, I want to say a quick thank you to Miss Sandra Delbeck, who went live in our team page last week. And if you guys haven't gone back and watched that live yet, it's not crazy long, and she gives you so much spirit, almost, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Like, it's not just tips and tricks, like there's spirit in that one. Like, she's sharing with you how to get through the hard stuff, how to like actually set your goals and keep working through them. Because we've all had goals that have crashed and burned, right? But sometimes it's because we didn't look at it in detail and really create a great goal, or sometimes we got thrown off. But what matters is getting back on that horse. So, Sandra D, thank you a million times over for that. And now for a couple of minutes, I just really would love for you guys to unmute or type. I want to know who's doing the bingo cards. What have you done from the bingo card that you never thought to do before, or that worked for you or did not work for you? And I'm not just asking for like pats on the back here. I really want to know, because we have 29 more, or no, 19 more days. And I want to make sure that these cards are working and that they're like, to me, they're a freaking challenge. So I hope they're challenging you, but give me some feedback, please.
I'll go.
I, oh,
Oh, Ronnie, you go. I want to hear you first.
oh, mercy. No, I didn't even know that Lavelle had a blog until that was on the bingo card.
Okay. Yep. That makes me happy. To not happy that you didn't know, but happy to know that the card helped you know that.
Right. What else did you want to know about it? I forgot all your questions.
Yeah, I mean, whatever your takeaway is, at Frank, we've completed 10 days. So I
Right.
posted day 11. So I've got a lot more. I either need to know if we're on the right track, if I need to tweak it, is it too much? I'm not going to say too much because we're going to keep 12 things. I don't know. I want like your honest feedback. I want, like, tell me if something sucks, tell me if something's whatever.
No, it helps me think out of the box. Like I said, and I'm trying to think now what my comment was. It keeps me focused, but I'm focusing on the right things, and I'm not trying to overthink what I'm supposed to do. It's all laid out there, and for some reason, that's the way my mind works. Even though I know what I'm supposed to do, I still need to see it in black and white to go, okay, I did this, I did this, I need to go do this, I need to go check on this. So it keeps me going in the right direction.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sam.
Okay, so my favorite thing that I've done on these was putting my sample link in my stories, which like I know how to do that and I know to do that. But I got 2 sample requests.
Yay.
2 local sample requests. And I know it was from Instagram, because when you transfer your story over to Facebook, it's not clickable.
Oh, mine is.
Mine's not. Like, only if I so if I do a poll or something and I transfer it over, then I go over to Facebook and like delete it and put up a new one and like add its own separate thing so that you can click it from Facebook. But mine, I didn't transfer or redo that one specific thing. 2 local people requested a sample after I've been posting reels. I've been posting, like, I don't think that they would have done that had I not been doing all the bingo cards and all the things leading up to that.
Yeah, like it all combined together.
I think like when we're doing the do every day so much, like if you do the do on these things, then when you do put your link out there and you do post a promo or whatever, people know what you're selling because you've been talking about it. So I'm obsessed with these bingo cards. I wish my entire team would do them. I will admit I slacked off over the weekend. I had an extremely busy family weekend, which I knew, which is why I didn't go on a mastermind trip this weekend. But I knew that it would be super busy. And I felt good about taking a day off because I worked my butt off during the week. I still had people to check in with. I did my IPAs. I don't even know. But I'm going to go back and just do what I missed, because I love having just I don't know, it's like boot camp style is what I keep
Yeah.
saying. It feels
Yeah.
like boot camp, but it's not like I'm not turning my work into anybody. It's just me.
Right.
I
Okay.
love it. I love it.
Good. Thank you. Because I'm what I'm trying to decide here is that if this is something good, like, do I just want to keep doing it? Like, you know how sometimes we used to get assigned homework on, like, Brittany or Susan would give us homework for the day. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, when it's in a pretty graphic and it's colorful and I have to cross off the thing, I do it versus when it was just typed out. Again, my brain. And Ronnie, I'm like you. Granted, when I made these, I had to really sit and think, but on the day-to-day basis, if it says make a Facebook post about Motivation Monday, I'm like, oh, cool. Whereas if it said make a Facebook post, I'd be like, well, what am I going to talk about? So yeah, I agree. Sandra D, what do you think? Because I know you're doing them.
Oh, I am. And okay, and I'll admit so far I have not completed everything on a given day, but I've got a bunch of them done. I'm going to do like Samantha is talking about, going back and doing the things that I've missed along the way. It makes me have to do my birthdays every day because y'all know I have a love-hate relationship with birthdays. I love that we are talking about our hero product in our stories every day. We may put it in our stories every day, but we may not necessarily be talking about it. It's given me ideas for new reels, and I've got some of those already recorded and XYZ. It is keeping me on track with what I have on my big calendar for the month, rather than going, oh, look, isn't that pretty on that calendar, and not getting them finished. It is really holding me in check right now when my brain could completely go in 50 jillion different directions. I'm loving it. And I tell you, I'm going to have a big old party on the day that I complete all 12 daggum tasks.
I understand. I do understand.
But also in doing this, and because y'all know I have felt very flighty and just I don't want to say unstructured, but just unsettled lately. And the other day driving home, I actually had to go into my voice thing. What this has helped me do is, y'all, it helped me come up with and solidify my fives.
Oh my gosh, that's huge. You've worked on that for a year or more. Holy crap. Okay, well, I'm getting happier by the minute. Anybody else want to chime in? You don't have to. I know TJ looks like he's working. I know that Lisa's at the airport. What I will say, Sandra and Sam, is about like you wanting to go back and like kind of catch up. Do it if you want, but some things are going to start repeating. So my whole hope and thought with this was that the first few days would be hard, then it would be a little less hard, and then by like the end of the month, people would be banging out completed. You know what I mean? So if you miss something that you're like, oh, that sounds fun and I want to do it, by all means, but don't think that you have to go back and do it. And I will tell you, so you guys all know, I think I talked about this last week, but because I made them and because I challenged you to do them, I felt this overwhelming pressure that every box had to be crossed off. Well, clearly being at a retreat with people with an agenda, with all that stuff, I struggled to get them all done. And there are the last 3 days, I don't have every single X marked, but I have so many more X's marked than I ever would have if I didn't have that bingo card. When I got to the airport, the day to leave, I had to be at the airport at freaking 4:30 in the morning. And I was just sitting there like, God, it's 4:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh, get the bingo card out. And between 4:30 and 5, I had a reel, I had my birthday read. I had so much done that I was like, I felt good about like starting my weekend. So I agree. I think they keep me on track. And again, we all know what we're supposed to do. We all have the same 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but for whatever reason, it's just more fun. I don't know. I'm having more fun playing a damn bingo card than I did doing my job. So what were you gonna say, Sam? Yeah.
If you struggle with coming up with ideas, making these moving forward, I relate to that because I did the 5 to Thrive with my team in Telegram. So if you need any brain jogger, you can go into that Telegram chat and just click images and just scroll through those and maybe get like some inspo for like, oh, that's a good one. And so you're not like trying to.
No, thank you. Because
I get it. It's fun at first, and then you're like, I need something new and I don't know what to do.
Well, and I want to ask you guys too, as you're going along, if you think of something, send me a message. You'd be like, hey, add this to a bingo card somewhere along the way. Now, I will tell you, I'm trying to get them done at least a week ahead. So if you give me a suggestion, you don't see it for a week, don't think I'm not paying attention. I am. It just will show up later. Because, they're already scheduled and all that stuff to make my life easier. But I am always looking for ideas. Or if you do something and you're like, that didn't work at all, that was kind of a dumb idea, or that backfired or whatever, let me know, because I don't want to set people up for anything but success. Thrive Connect. Yeah, one of the cards last week, you should have shared a video from Thrive Connect to your stories. But yeah, Thrive Connect is important. I actually had somebody who must have been on the Wake Up and Win. She's not anywhere under Susan, so I don't know her. But anyway, she shot me a message, and I had totally forgotten about Thriver TV. That was another one, another resource that I hadn't used. So I've got that written down to try to incorporate into a card too. Okay, well, thank you. I will warn you now, I may possibly go past the time over into Lunch and Grow. So if you feel the need to jump off for Lunch and Grow, I get it. This will be recorded. You can always come back, no big deal. But I just want to, I'm not going to give you a play-by-play, obviously. I will tell you the way this group, this retreat, mastermind, whatever you want to call it, was set up, was people were selected by their peers. So somebody had to say, I want Samantha Cox to come to this event because I think she's amazing and I want to learn from her, which, by the way, Samantha was asked to come and couldn't do it. Sandra was asked to come and couldn't do it. And I believe Lisa was asked to come and do it. If anyone else was asked to come and I just don't know, tell me. But I was so proud of how many Dream Teamers were asked, because the trick was you couldn't nominate or vote or invite whatever, anybody in your downline. So when I got the message, I couldn't say I wanted Samantha or I wanted TJ, or, I couldn't say that. Like I had to pick somebody completely different. So that was kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm going to tell you this was the best group of people, work-wise, attitude-wise, that I've ever been meshed with on a retreat, because every single person picked was truly working their business. They didn't earn this retreat because they sold something to their neighbor's dog. They didn't pay their way because they just wanted a girls' trip. This literally was everyone working. So I'm not going to say there wasn't drama here or there every now and then. It's 9 women in a house together. But I will say anything that popped up was either hugged out or discussed like adults, and we moved on. So any of you that have been on a retreat, you know where I'm coming from. It was so much better than what my fear was kind of going in. But I want to go over just a few things, and I don't want to just talk. You guys chime in as if anything strikes a code with you. But over the last year, obviously business has been a struggle for the world, not just, you or me, and not just Thrive. I want you to understand and know that aside from maybe 2 people in this world, no one has maintained the rank that you think they've maintained. No one has held their rank that you think they have held. Everyone has struggled. Everyone has learned the hard way that if you get complacent in your business and you stop building, you will have to start back over. So just like I say, I mean, Chick-fil-A is the only business I know that can shut their door one day a week and make it. But on that day that they're shut, they don't shut up, right? They still have all their marketing happening. It's almost like FOMO now that it's Sunday and you can't get it. Like they've really developed that. But when a business shuts their door, and in our world, shutting your door would be not posting, not reaching out, not telling a stranger what you do, like, right? Like you kind of shut your door that way. When a business shuts the door, even for a day, it stops building. And anytime you stop building in a business, you're going to sink. It might be an inch, it might be a mile, but you're going to sink. So I definitely saw and learned and heard from everybody all over the board that everyone has spent the last year either learning that lesson, or even if they knew that lesson, they're in building mode. So if you feel like your numbers aren't where you want them to be, if you feel like you've missed your rank, or you feel like you missed your bonus, and you start thinking you're a bad human or a bad leader or whatever, wipe that shit out of your brain. You are just a human in business in a recession that followed a pandemic. It ain't no joke. This is not for wussies, okay? So keep your chins up. We're all in the same boat. But the great thing to me is even the people who are struggling and learning the hard lesson, they're in it to win it. They're here, they're showing up, and they're doing their business. And I'm going to say that about all of you, because you're here, whether you're watching this live or on a replay, you're doing your best to stay in the business and keep your feet in the fire. And I think that is so important. I will also say, Lindsay, if you've ever been on an event or a getaway, or if you've ever spent any time with Lindsay, she loves to make people sit in a circle and kumbaya, right? So we were all asked to sit in a circle and kumbaya about our biggest fear in our business. Whatever fear you can think of right now off the top of your head, there at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's really 7 of us because AI doesn't count. Every fear you think of, I bet there's 5 people that have the same fear. So again, you're not different. You're not, and I'm not saying this to be mean. You're not different. You're not special, right? You're just in business, and it can be hard. And you're not just in any business. You're self-employed. That's hard. If you were working for corporate America and they were having a rough year, you're still getting your paycheck, right? That doesn't hurt. When you're working for yourself and you're having a rough year and your paycheck gets cut in half or cut in 3/4 or whatever the heck's happening, it's hard. It hurts, right? And when that happens, you kind of want to run and go find something different, or you dig deeper. Whatever your response is going to determine what your next paycheck is. So if you get a paycheck you don't like, or you're not proud of, or you're embarrassed of, or whatever the right word would be for you, if you put your head in the sand, I can guarantee the next following weeks are going to be just as bad, if not worse. So you got to get the chin up, you got to put the feet in the ground, and you got to keep moving forward. And that is part of why I love these bingo cards, because no matter what's going on, I can cross something off and feel good about what I've done. So that is also a really a big thing that I took from that. The other thing that didn't necessarily happen in words at the retreat, but it happened on a podcast that I listened to one morning on my walk while I was gone, that then it kept showing up in real life at the retreat. If you don't start every morning with the end game in your mind. So if you don't wake up on a Monday morning and think, man, I can't wait to retire to my lake house. Man, I can't wait to write a check for my kids' college in full. Man, I can't wait to pay off my mortgage. Man, I can't wait. Whatever it is that you're working here for, if you don't wake up every day with that in mind, you are not going to be working intentionally throughout the day. You will not use your time intentionally. Too often we get caught up in, I'm going to be on a Zoom. I'm going to go get 2 customers. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Whereas if you woke up and you thought, okay, I'm going to end at my lake house retired, you're going to move a whole lot different than you are if you just think you're going to get 2 customers. So be intentional. It's so important. And actually, I don't know, maybe I'll get into it, but the time that we waste worried about what people think of us, or what if somebody knew I lost my rank, or what if somebody knew that my paycheck went from, I don't know, $400 a week to $20. Like what if all that time that you spend and all that energy you spend thinking about those things, that takes away the intentionality of your day. It also sucks the life right out of you, which I'm sure you have all felt that at some point in time in your life. But keep the big picture in mind. And if you need to, like I love, Samantha has that mirror with all of her I ams on it. You know, if you need something like that, take a Post-it and just put your big why, your big bodacious why. Put that somewhere where when you wake up in the morning, you can see that, so that when you start to get flustered, or you start to not know what to do, or you start to blow off what you know you need, because we've all been there where we're like, man, I really need to do those birthday reach outs, but I haven't seen my garden grow in 4 days, you know, like whatever, that would be me talking. If I'm reminded of my big goal, I'm going to walk intentionally. And it's when you walk intentionally in all things that you actually move forward. How many of you have felt like you've walked in circles versus forward and up? Then in those moments when you were walking in circles, I can guarantee you that if we could go back in time, you were not thinking about your end goal. You were thinking about a task or a small, tiny goal, or, you know, whatever, right? Like you weren't thinking of the big goal in mind. You weren't heading with intention. I also want to talk to the fact that, and I know I'm going through all this fast, but it is what it is. Every person on here is a leader, right? And we hear that all the time. And I know some people are like, well, I'm not really a leader. I don't have a team. You're leading yourself. And if you're waiting on a team to become a leader, your team's not coming. No one's coming if you're just sitting. If I'm sitting in the corner and I'm waiting like this, and I'm like, any minute, my team's coming, and Sandra's over in that corner and she's got a sign up, now hiring, I'm fun, come spend time with me, I'll help you make money. What corner are you going to go to? Right? So when people say my team doesn't show up to this, my team doesn't show up to that, I get it. I mean, our team is really big and we have 7 people on here and an AI fakey fake, right? But the people that come are the people that are supposed to be here. And if I give my energy every day to that group of people or that one person, it's going to grow. Like you just can't, you can't wait on a team to become a leader. You can't, just like how you can't wait on a customer to say you're good at sales. You got to go out and sell something to someone before you say, I got a customer, right? It's the same with your team. You've got to start leading. And if you're not sure where to start leading yourself. Are you waking up when you said you're going to? Are you doing whatever daily exercise you say you're going to? Are you doing your non-negotiables, bingo card, 5, 4, 3, whatever the heck you want to call? Are you doing those things? Are you showing up to either the locals or a team lead? Like, are you showing up and doing what you said? Because if you can't lead yourself, you sure as heck are not going to be able to lead one other person or 10 other people or 20 other people. And anytime I start to feel like, man, I think, I'm 8 years into this, you guys. Anytime I start to think, gosh, how come I'm not 200K yet? I'm not ready. Clearly, if I was ready, it would be here, right? If I was ready to have that many people under me, if I was truly leading myself that strongly, then there would be more people here. And so I'm always working on me, and I need you all to work on you. And once we're all working on ourselves and we're getting really good and we're getting better, that's when we all become stronger. So don't think that you're not a good leader because you don't have a team. You just need to become the leader so the team will come. That's just how that works. It's not like, this is going to sound weird, but it's not like teenage pregnancy where you screw up and all of a sudden you're a mom, right? Someone can be a mother, but not really a mom, right? Somebody can be a father, but not really a daddy. It's the same thing. If you want to be a true leader, you got to show up and do everything that's involved with being that leader. Like me waking up, looking out. Yeah. For your end goal, Ronnie, is that what you're saying? Looking out the window at the beach? Yes. If you think of that, when you wake up in the morning and you think that's what I'm working for that view of a beachfront out my window, then it's not going to be scary to send reach outs. But if you're like, well, I really need to get 2 customers this week because I need to thrive for free, that's when you start going in circles versus, I'm going to the beach, right? So use those end goals. Gosh, so much. One of the things that I think we talked about quite a bit too is really getting to know yourself, which is, I don't know, some people, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me. Maybe that's why I'm stuttering. Like you feel like you know yourself, but then and maybe you do know yourself, but are you really being yourself? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you, what's holding you back? What fear holds you back? And we actually had a guest speaker that came. She was a thriver or is a thriver, but now she doesn't. Chandra Dawn. Sandra, I thought you were Facebook friends with her. Apparently she was under Tiff and Nina there years ago. Anyway, she went out on her own. She healed her body. She's got all these certifications for nutrition and stuff now, but she was asking us questions like, what's one thing you want most in your business? Why don't you believe you have it? How is that thought? So what is the thought? So yes, sir. Okay. So what is the one thing most you want in your business right now? Just think of something quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can do this later. Think of that. Why don't you think you have it? Okay, got that? Now that thought of why you don't have it, how is that protecting yourself? Because we do what works for us. So when I tell you I'm not 200K yet, and it must be because I'm not ready for it, how does that protect me? I can just keep not being ready for it, right? No one's gonna find fault in me if I'm like, well, I'm just not ready for it yet. That's protecting me. That's keeping me from being like, because I got to get my shit together and get it, right? So our thoughts, our excuses, sometimes we are just pushing away what we say we want because we're so deep seated into our thoughts, into our limiting beliefs. We talked about the stories that you tell yourself. One of the things that she said that I wrote down all caps is words build worlds. Your words build your world. And then I immediately proceeded to yell at Lindsay nonstop because she would start every sentence. Well, I'm so stupid. I didn't know we were supposed to have 2 promoters, blah, 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 blah. I'm so stupid. I didn't even know. And I was like, girl, if you call yourself stupid one more time, I'm gonna have to get Chandra on the line here and yell at you. But it was like Sandra with the squirrel. It was something so naturally and ingrained in her that she said it nonstop without thinking about it. So think about that. What do you say to yourself on a routine basis without a single thought? It might even be like when, you know, you guys all know, I hate that I'm a hot mess. I hate when women say that about themselves. You might be an unsupported, stressed out mom, but you're not a hot mess. There's a big difference. So what you say really does matter, and realizing what you're saying, identifying it, and then doing your damnedest to flip what you're saying is going to make a huge difference, because your words will build your world. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Something she also said too is my body and my mind are always for me, not against me. And a lot of times, what do we say? Oh, I didn't feel good, so I didn't get my reach outs done. Oh, I'm just so stressed out. I can't think about making a reel. No, your body and your mind are always for you. You have to support them. And that goes back to, are you going to bed when you say you are? Are you waking up when you say you are? Are you leading yourself down the path of success, of self-care and self-love, so that you can then show up your best and be the leader of the team that you want to be? There's so many layers. And like I said, I know I'm going through it quickly. I want to go now. This is something totally not from the retreat, but kind of from the retreat, because it was on that podcast I listened to. If you think of the word pivot, like in life, we say it a lot around here, like I was doing so good, but then life happened, right? I mean, have we not all said that probably in the last week? Right? When life happens, that's just a pivot. That's just a pivot in the plan, right? You got at that moment when it happens, you can't keep going, right? Because life happens. So you either have to go left or right. You have to pivot. So here's a good, Sandra, what's that called? I'm going to take the letters PIVOT, and each letter is going to stand for something. What's that called? There's a fancy word for that. You English majors out there, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
It's an acrostic.
Okay, we're going to do an acrostic. Okay, for pivot. So P, piss poor planning will prevent proper performance. That's a lot of P's, but I loved it because that's, my dad always said piss poor planning or something to piss poor this. Piss poor planning prevents proper performance. So when life happens, how much planning did you do up to that point? For example, last night when those girls got to the airport and their flight got canceled, you always have to travel as if something could happen, right? You've got to plan ahead. And let's pretend that they had checked their bags and all they had was their purse in their hand, and they didn't think to throw a toothbrush in there or a change of undies, right? Like piss poor planning would prevent proper performance. So think about that in life and in business. If you're putting off for tomorrow what you could be doing today, and then today shows up and you can't do it because somebody ends up in the hospital, or your kid ends up sick at home, or whatever it is, the more you can plan ahead, the better off you're going to be when you do have to pivot. I is intentional. We just spent forever talking about that. If you're intentional with your time, your effort, your energy, and I'm going to say this for all of you, if you have anyone in your life, especially in this business on your teams, and they keep coming to you and they keep trying to distract you and they keep trying to suck the life out of you and they keep asking you questions that they should know the answers to and yada, 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 you got to say, hey, because you're going to be intentional. I'm never going to get to that lake house if I'm answering a million questions that somebody could, right? So to be intentional also means you've got to hold up those boundaries. So I is for intentional. V is for vision. That kind of goes with intention. If you're constantly keeping your vision in front of you and you know what you're working for and you know what you're trying to build, you're going to be intentional. The O is for oneness, and that's like this, us right here, right now. We are together as one working on a common goal. Maybe you have a really deep bond or mentorship with someone in the business or out, but they help build you up. That's a oneness, right? With a human that's helping you get there. You also need to have oneness with yourself. So that comes into maybe 3 years ago, you said, I want to be 12K. I want to be 12K. And now your life is to the point where you're like, I'm thrilled to be 4K. I don't need the auto bonus anymore. My husband hit the millionaire jackpot and we don't need it. You have to be in oneness with your goal. So you really have to spend time constantly reevaluating your goals. Are you in oneness with your goals? And the people that you're spending your time with, are they in oneness with helping you get there? If they're not, it's not that you can't be friends, it's not that you can't be, even business partners, but you can't spend your time worried about them or pouring into them when they're pulling you away from your vision. T is true. You got to be true. You got to be true to yourself. You got to be true to your business. You have to be true to your values and true to your morals. So again, in that moment, when something pops up, like I'm just going back to the travel scenario because it does make sense. So like, let's say they didn't plan right and they didn't have their toothbrush. So they weren't intentional when they were packing because they didn't keep their vision of the possibilities in front of them. They may or may not be in oneness in the moment because they may be with people like these girls or with people who are helping them through this. So they've at least got that. But the true, your truth may be that you don't care. You don't need to brush your teeth. You're just happy that you had a place to spend the night. Or your truth may be, oh my gosh, if I don't have all 7 face creams in my toothbrush, I'm never going to be able to feel correct about myself, right? But it's all part of that moment when you pivot. So you've got to plan ahead. You got to be intentional. You got to hold your vision in front of you at all times. You have to have oneness with yourself and with others, and you have to be true to yourself and to your business. And you guys, we could get off this Zoom and in 2 minutes, your whole day could pivot. So I want you to hold on to that because it's really, oh, Ronnie left for PT. Okay. It's really true that to keep moving, you're going to have to pivot. I wish there was a straight line to success and to 200K, 600K. I would love if there was just a straight line to that crap, but it's not. There's a lot of pivots along the way, and it's what you do in that moment that's going to matter. So I think that's enough for today. That was a lot. And I know it was a little bit scattered and random, but I will tell you tomorrow night for the team Zoom, the Freedom Thrivers team Zoom, they've asked all of the girls that were on that retreat to come and kind of do a recap. And now I will tell you, in addition to the self-development that we did, we also really dove in on that team Zoom and how if we're going to have a team Zoom on Tuesday nights, we want it to be worth our time. And we gave some pretty big directives to Lindsay and to Susan about how to change that time up so that it's much more valuable than it has been since it started. So we were very constructive with our criticism, and that's also going to be talked about tomorrow night too, because they are going to make some changes based on the things that we had. So yeah, well, I'm thrilled to pieces, literally thrilled to pieces that the bingo cards are helping and doing what I hope they would do. I'm going to keep working on them. Like I said, send me all the information or ideas or whatever if you have some that pop up into your mind. Or I don't always need a pat on my back. Sometimes I need you to say, no, that one sucked. Let's do something different. And also those of you that are doing them, tell people you're doing them, like people as in your team or your side sisters or whatever you want to call them. Like let people know that you're using them and they're helping, because maybe they see them getting posted and they don't know what's going on, or they haven't really processed it, or they think if they don't do all 12, they get kicked out of Lavelle.com. I don't know what people think, but just let them know you're using it and that it's helping you, because then that's a resource for all of us. I will tell you all of those bingo cards have now been sent to every girl that was at that mastermind. So a bunch of other teams are going to do them too. So again, it's just a way to help. We've only got 3 months and a few weeks left, right? And we all want to do our best by the end of the year. So we're all trying to do our best. Does anybody have anything they want to? So I have criticism. Boring is misspelled. Oh, damn it. Okay. That's today's, isn't it? Even if what you're doing is boring, I'll fix it. Thank you. I'm the worst speller. Grammar is awful. So
if the only thing you get criticized on is a spelling mishap, I think that's pretty good. Well, but I was like, borning. What's borning?
And that's been my whole life, so it doesn't shock me one bit. Not one bit that something was misspelled, for sure. Okay, guys. Well, there's still what's it called? Not wake lunch and grow is happening, and the corporate call is at 1 Eastern. So let's go get Monday. I'll see you guys later. Bye.